Shall we begin?
Rotsuke here, salutations. This is Klash Warlocke Watcher number 6. And in this video, I'm actually going to showcase the new logo that I've worked on. The artist, if you've seen the last video, whole thing with the artist. I'm not an artist. My drawing abilities are very minute, if that, but pretty good with, you know, graphics and manipulation and video. I'm okay on video and that sort of thing, but you get the gist. I'm not the full-on, like, I can draw from scratch characters and anatomy and things like that. What I am going to showcase is other things that was going on. So I'm going to show you a couple of things I was working on before the switch. I've been going through multiple artists trying to, you know what I mean, get back on board and create more of what Klash Warlocke is. I was working on the manga version of that, but that looks like that might change in that sort of situation. And then I'm going to reveal like I got like 3 manga pages that the last work on, but I'll show you one and then I'll show you the logo towards the end. So let's get started with this right here. This right here is one of the last, not as far as a character. Yeah, he's like a minotaur type of character. Pretty cool. But yeah, drawed it from scratch. I basically just gave very vague instructions and things like that. But this color was this character was also going to be in color and that sort of thing. But this is one of the few and last images as far as characters is concerned, other than doing the manga pages that set up, and I'm doing the writing. I am the creator of Klash Warlocke and that sort of thing. I mostly do the writing, the development, and all the other things, world building, all those different things for Klash Warlocke. So that is that. Now, I don't know if some of you remember this character. This is Dot. Kind of my unofficial, kind of like mascot. You know, one of those characters and that sort of thing, 2 tails and that sort of thing. But yeah, this is Dot. This particular character is called a Rapandi. It's crossed between a well, basically it's kind of like my version of a red-tailed panda, but it's not a red-tailed panda, so that's why it's Rapandi and that sort of thing. And he is the last one, so he's extremely rare and that sort of thing. It comes up in the story. Notice the gem in his head. But what Dot specializes in, because he has some powers there, is teleportation. That's what he specializes in. And he's one of the few that I've actually never had as a actual kind of like manga color or anything like that. But I was working on merchandise, so I wanted to let you guys know that more than just writing, I was doing some other things too. So let me stretch this fully out and maybe you could see here. So anyway, what you're looking at right here is a keychain that I was coming up with, that some options where it's called a shaker keychain. This part was going to be acrylic see-through, and this was going to be like a Asian inspired restaurant, and inside these were the small pieces that will actually free float inside there. So you had Dot, who's, like I said, teleport, and he likes sweets and he likes meat. He's like an omnivore. So, And he has posable thumbs. I kind of did that so he can grip things, so he can kind of grab things. And yeah, this would be the front, or this is the back. Yeah, I guess I see it this way. This is the front and this is the back. When you flip it over, these pieces float around, and what it's supposed to represent is he's teleporting, eating the sweet food and eating the meat and that sort of thing, the savory food. So anyway, I was prototyping that. I still think I can do that. I still think I'll be able to use Dot and this particular artwork right here. So let me take this down and let me show you the next thing that's going on, which is another artist. And what I, you know, the reason why, and I'm gonna say this, I do not like this particular, this is for my main character Enzo. And what I don't like, and why I'm bringing this up, even though it's something I don't like, yes, he's supposed to have a spear weapon, but it's more like the Chinese weapon instead of the Japanese Namanaga, which I actually showed. I actually talked to the artist about 8 times. 8 times to try to get her. Told him it wasn't modern day. You could see the shoes look more like tennis shoes or whatever. It looks very urban, looks very modern. Hair is okay, but he's not a teenager. He doesn't look like he's a prince. And the reason why I'm showing you this one, and it's got this weird, I think this is supposed to be the drop shadow or whatever, but I had to pay for each and every time he did some editing, and this was like the final one where it was still just wrong. Like every single time it was wrong, and it's very frustrating. I mean, I think the person just said yes to my request on making a character, because whatever I do, I basically say, can you draw my main character? And so, and I'm happy to pay as far as, I know you're, drawing it from scratch. Well, not scratch. I do have source material, but you know what I'm saying. I will pay you for your time. I'm only fair like that. But when I constantly give you, you know what I mean, and you can look up references that this was supposed to be more kind of Japanese and supposed to be a little bit more fantasy and not so, modern, it's a problem. And out of all the artists, this one right here with all the edits I had to pay for was the most expensive. And I don't want to talk about it, but I am quite upset with it. Like, really? The spear kept changing. Like, it's supposed to be longer, obviously. But that's the final blade he kind of came up with. One time it looked like a European one. Then it looked a little bit more to like Final Fantasy. And it was like, no. Like I said, 8 times. And this was my final result. And that sort of thing. And like I said, this is a weird drop shadow or whatever. But anyway, let's see. All right, that kind of shifted there. All right. I believe there's 2 more other than this. But this is out of context, but this gives you an idea. And I have over 15. So I'm somewhere between maybe 15 to 17 manga pages, like, completed. They look like this with dialogue. There's even a little bit more effects or something like that. But this is Klash Warlocke. You see the background, you see the weapons, you see the powers, and you see that, it's a fantasy story. And, I really like this page right there. And what's happening is there's some projectiles coming, and this particular character, his name's Thane, he does have the ability, or Warlocks have the ability, to bring up a magical shield. I call it a shielder. They bring their arm up, comes up there, and it blocks. And usually if you're a character who uses a large weapon, your shield is also very large. So it kind of goes hand in hand. If you have a smaller sword, short sword, your shielder is going to be smaller. It just goes hand in hand. Anyway, another thing, because I didn't put the special effect here, I do all of that, all the lettering and dialogue and stuff like that, is that this blade actually extends out from the hilt, and it's all metal. So what happens is you see metal shards and it just comes straight up. When it goes away in little, like, diamond-like shard pieces. But he springs into action, blocks, and shing! This giant sword just comes out of the hilt. And most warlocks that uses swords and axes keep it in this hilt right here. And easy to carry around and that sort of thing until battle. So that's why you see that little part right there. So very happy with this. Love the background. Love good shadow and stuff like that. All right. So I'm actually just going to bring this down. Oh, let me bring this down here and reveal and there it is. The new logo, Klash Warlocke. Yeah, it's blue. It has the spear through it instead of beneath it. And this is something I did myself after going through different styles and things like that. And what I really like about this, and this is going forward, is that it's got that really ancient, kind of like scarred, Greek or Greek ruin, Parthenon or Pantheon kind of feel. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. It's got a lot of like imperfections in there, which is fine. Which to me is fine. I like the pointiness of like the K and the E and the L and the R and the A, all those things, and the K up at the top there. But yeah, I love all the imperfections and things like that. Much more so than the kind of like Klash Warlocke that you see below. It just gives it much more personality and makes it much more interesting. Like the giant W, and I like the spear through it and that sort of thing. So this is going away. Let's make this a little bit smaller. So yeah, the bottom one, has that like really clean, sterile, but it just doesn't invoke, what I mean, that fantasy feel, So I'm gonna see ya. That's gone, and that's what you're going to be seeing from now on. And I'm doing that. Let's see what this looks like. I just thought of this right now. I guess I should have locked my background, right? But I'm doing this real quick and fast. But there you go. See, that's what it looks like. Klash Warlocke. That could be a cover, of course in all color, but yeah, I like it. and gives it much more personality and that sort of thing. I like it a lot. Let's make this smaller. Yep. So I do have a 9 to 5, and I do other things too and stuff like that. So, but anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen to 15 minutes of this. I definitely think I'm probably going to have to do this artwork on my own. And, money's tight, things are tight. But anyway, it must continue. It must, it must go on. So anyway, thanks for listening. This is Rasuke.